an octopus. My name is Dayo Adenuga. Sharing the microphone with me this afternoon is
Olushola Akinropo. You can also listen to us live stream www.radionigeriaibadan.gov.ng, X and Facebook at PFM 935 Ibadan. Ensure you keep warm this cold season. Now the news in detail. Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has urged breastfeeding mothers to adopt healthy lifestyles and maintain nutritious diet as the country marks World Breastfeeding Week 2026. In a message to commemorate the annual campaign observed from August 1 to 7, the First Lady endorsed this year's global theme, Breastfeeding for a Sustainable Start in Life, Strengthening What Works. She described breastfeeding as a critical investment in the health and future of children, families, and the nation. Senator Tinubu encouraged lactating mothers to prioritize good nutrition and healthy living to improve their well-being and that of their children. She said breastfeeding lays the foundation for a child's healthy growth and lifelong development, making it a vital investment in families and a nation. World Breastfeeding Week is observed globally every year to promote breastfeeding and raise awareness of its health, nutritional and developmental benefits for infants and mothers.
As the world evolves, a new development continues to influence people's health and well-being, both positively and negatively. New information about diet, herbs, beverages, spices and vegetables emerges daily, particularly on social media platforms. One of such trends is the growing number of testimonials promoting combinations of herbs, fruits, and spices along with claims about their health benefits. Our correspondent Antonia Akonji examines this growing trend, popularly known as health combos, and explores its claimed benefits as well as the concerns surrounding it.
If I had known that banana peel mixed with cloves cures all these diseases, I would never have thrown it away.
Any kind of infection in your body, go and do this now. All the infection will disappear.
High blood sugar, high cholesterol, and want to lose a few pounds? Put 3 tablespoons of oats in a glass of water, add the juice of 1 lemon, let it sit for 30 minutes, and drink it in the morning on an empty stomach.
With a large fibroid, she went from this to this without surgery, and with bitter leaf, moringa, some pieces of garlic, and a tomb of ginger.
Those are some of the unverified health advisories put forward on the combination of spices, herbs, and fruits in keeping cancer away, keeping the immune system active, weight reduction, achieving flat tummies, and others. Health, they say, is wealth, and in line with the saying that you are what you eat, a number of people actually embrace such information without second thought, especially if they are experiencing a situation similar to what is described in the advisory. Radio Nigeria's microphone caught up with some respondents in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. Pastor Patrick Akinpelu, Professor Sabit Olagoki, Mrs. Omolade Olanrewaju, and Mrs. Funke Oshoko on the issue.
For me, I don't think it is proper for something that has not been medically approved.
The areas of medical treatments has to do with medical diagnosis. For us to be able to identify the source and the type, only professionals in the medical field can detect and offer effective treatment.
I don't like all those things. I like people to go to a medical practitioner or a learned person that have knowledge about what health entails to give them advice.
I had malaria shortly before delivery, and somebody just advised I take this lemongrass tea or put it some boiled and drank. Immediately after drinking that thing, I fell into labor. Eventually, I lost the child.
Reacting to this, a food scientist, Mrs. Bola Ogunfiditimi, explained that the benefits of herbs and spices cannot be overruled, but there are limitations in terms of age, size, and what the body has been exposed to, which many people do not put into consideration.
Honestly, as good as these head combos really sound to the ears, and of course, one way or the other, a
the boosters to testify to the benefits they have gained from these health combos. It calls for consultation from dietitians or medical practitioners to really know what is good for the person in the picture.
Mrs. Ogunfiditimi recommended that people eat diets rich in the 6 classes of food and drink enough water to stay healthy. What effect does such combos have on the brain? A neurologist, Dr. Temitope Farombi, notes that whatever is good for the body is also good for the brain, but calls for caution in arbitrary consumption without recommendation to prevent crisis.
I know that most people just drink it and they see effect on a specific part of their body. Whatever anybody is taking, it should be with moderation.
The experts warn that spices like garlic, which are blood thinners, should not be taken in excess by people with blood disorders. They also caution people to drink the health combos based on recommendation from specialists, as what is good for one person may be dangerous for another. In Ibadan, Antonia Akonji, Radio Nigeria.
The Federal Ministry of Works has begun an assessment of flood-affected sections along the Benin-Shagamu Expressway following recent torrential rainfall that disrupted movement on parts of the highway. The Minister of Works, Dr. Dave Umahi, stated this while inspecting the affected sections of the Ore corridor in Odigbo local government area of Ondo State. Dr. Umahi said the 3 major flood-prone locations along the Ondo section of the expressway include Agbofure at kilometer 100, Adulak Junction near Ore flyover bridge at kilometer 107, and the Agric section of kilometer 117. It said the ministry was proposing targeted engineering interventions at the identified locations to prevent future flooding and improve safety along the highway. Dr. Umahi, who was represented by the Federal Controller of Works in Ondo State, Mr. Olajide Hussein, said the recent intense rainfall had resulted in flooding in several communities and road corridors across the country, adding that the ministry had commenced technical evaluation to address the challenge.
Taraba State Governor Dr. Agbu Kefas has signed 3 executive orders aimed at tackling political thuggery, illegal mining and drug abuse in the state. This is contained in a statement issued by the Commissioner for Information and Reorientation, Mrs. Zainab Jalingo. Governor Kefas decried the alarming increase in substance abuse and its correlation with criminality, violence and social vices in the state, stressing the need for preventive steps. He said the executive order provides stronger legal backing for relevant authorities to monitor and prosecute activities related to drug abuse while supporting efforts geared towards public enlightenment, rehabilitation and youth development. The governor explained that the executive order prohibits political thuggery, including the recruitment, sponsorship, financing, harboring or use of political thugs by any individual, group or political interest. The government calls on all citizens, traditional institutions, religious leaders, youth groups, political stakeholders and civil society organizations to support the implementation of these executive orders in the collective interest of peace, security and progress.
The National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, has issued fresh guidelines for prospective corps members ahead of the forthcoming orientation exercise. In a notice shared on its official X account, the scheme advised prospective corps members to prioritize their safety while traveling to their respective orientation camps and follow the registration requirements. The scheme also warned that candidates with discrepancies in their graduation dates would not be registered at the orientation camp. The NYSC directed affected candidates to resolve such issues with the relevant authorities before reporting to camp. The scheme further reminded prospective corps members to complete all required documentation before arriving at camp, including the signing and submission of the registration form.
Students of Osun State University, Uni Osun Ejigbo campus have staged a peaceful protest over what they described as an arbitrary increase in house rent, inadequate basic amenities and insecurity. The students trooped out in their hundreds carrying placards with inscriptions such as "Landlords, reduce our house rent. Accommodation fees are killing us in Ejigbo. House rent is higher than our tuition fees, and landlords provide water for us," among others. Some of the students told Radio Nigeria that they pay between 300,000 naira and 400,000 naira for a self-contained room without basic amenities to justify the cost. The students also alleged that thieves often burgled their residences whenever they travel home during holidays. The students claim that some landlords threaten to evict tenants who are unable to pay the increased rent in order to lease the rooms to newly admitted students. They appeal to landlords to reduce the rent in the interest of peace and welfare of students.
The Oyo State Commissioner for Culture and Tourism, Dr. Wasiu Olatunde Olabosun, has mourned the death of renowned journalist, author, historian, and Diabese Olubadan of Ibadan Oleyele Alabi, describing his passing as a monumental loss to Ibadan land, Oyo State, and the Yoruba culture heritage. In a condolence message, Dr. Olabosun said the late elder statesman devoted his lifetime to preserving, documenting, and promoting the rich history, traditions, and cultural values of the Yoruba people through his writing, public engagement, and advocacy for cultural renaissance. He described the late Abese Olubadan as an outstanding ambassador of Yoruba culture whose contributions would continue to inspire generations.
The Zonal Director of the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria (FRCN) Ibadan Zonal Station, Mr. Olufemi Fulani, has urged journalists to remain committed to their professional responsibilities despite the challenges associated with the job. Mr. Fulani made the call at the 4th edition of the Tunde Oluwanike Memorial Lecture organized by the Nigerian Union of Journalists (NUJ). Mr. Fulani made the call at the 4th edition of the Tunde Oluwanike Memorial Lecture organized by the Radio Nigerian Union of Journalists (NUJ) of Ibadan Chapel. He advised media professionals to always prioritize their health and personal security while carrying out their duties, stressing that no assignment is worth risking their lives. The FRCN General Director also commended the widow of the late Tunde Oluwanike, Mrs. Omolara Oluwanike, for her dedication to the upbringing of their children. She encouraged her not to relent in providing proper guidance and instilling sound moral values in them. Earlier, the chairman, Nigerian Union of Journalists (NUJ) FRCN Ibadan Chapel, Mr. Oluwakaode Banjo, had explained that the lecture was organized to honor the late comrade Tunde Oluwanike, who went to Abuja for NUJ assignment in 2013 but lost his life in a ghastly motor accident at Osun State. Mr. Banjo added that the lecture was meant to train journalists to keep abreast of the latest development in the journalism profession.
This is the world today, the stories that made headline. First Lady has urged breastfeeding mothers to embrace healthy living. Federal government set to rehabilitate flood-prone Benin or a road. And on the foreign scene, fire outbreak triggers a mass evacuation in Washington. Iran executes 2 men for espionage. Stay with us.
Glad to know you're still there, still listening to The World Today on the Southwest Network of Radio Nigeria. Now picking up from foreign-related stories. 3 separate fires broke out over the weekend in and around the city of east of Washington State, while thousands of people were ordered to evacuate their homes. According to reports, firefighters worked to contain huge blazes in the U.S. city of Spokane today, after officials reported hundreds of structures had been reduced to cinders. The National Weather Service had warned of extremely critical fire weather conditions in the area due to strong winds and exceptional dryness. Washington Governor Bob Ferguson, who declared a state of emergency, said the state is enduring a fourth consecutive year of drought as climate change creates conditions conducive to destructive wildfires.
Japan and the United States have confirmed that they jointly halted the slide in yuan after it fell to a fresh 40-year low. Report says the joint intervention is the first since 2011, when both countries took coordinated action to weaken the yuan after the devastating earthquake and tsunami that hit eastern Japan. Both Japan's Ministry of Finance and U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent have said that they would not hesitate to conduct more joint interventions in the future. It highlights both countries' efforts to prevent a sell-off in the yuan and Japanese government bonds from having an impact on the global economy, including potentially helping to push up borrowing costs for Washington.
Iran has executed 2 men, Omid Bezad and Porgia Safwat, convicted of spying for Israel. Report says since the start of the war with Israel and the United States in February, Tehran has ramped up executions, with many of the convicts accused of spying for Israeli intelligence. Bezad and Zavmat were hanged for transmitting the coordinates of sensitive military and security sites to Mossad agents. They helped the intelligence services achieve their objectives by providing them with information on military and security centers during the war. Reports did not specify when the pair were arrested or went on trial, but said they were convicted of espionage and collaboration with the Zionist regime.
Team Nigeria wrapped up its campaign at the 2026 Commonwealth Games in Glasgow with an impressive 7th place finish on the final medals table, collecting 24 medals across athletic, weightlifting, power sport and judo. The Nigerian contingent secured 10 gold, 7 silver and 7 bronze medals, making it the highest ranked African nation at the games ahead of the South Africa and Kenya. Australia topped the overall standing with 17 medals, including 70 gold, while England finished second. Canada claimed 3rd place, with India, Scotland and New Zealand completing the top 6.
Nigeria's Super Falcons will today return to training in the night as they get up for the crucial Group C clash against the Cleopatras of Egypt. Today's night session is expected to start at 6 o'clock in the evening and will hold at the Asfar Training Center in Rabat. Justine Madugu's side started their 2026 Women's African Cup of Nations campaign with a 3-2 defeat to the Scorchers of Malawi.
2 days after the matter examines the sentences handed over to convicted terrorists, it is written by Fauzia Kashim of our Current Affairs Unit.
Nigeria recently recorded a significant milestone in its fight against terrorism with the conviction of 5 terrorist leaders. The convictions demonstrate the federal government's resolve to ensure that those who engage in acts of terrorism are held accountable for their crimes. The achievement reflects the painstaking efforts of the Department of State Services, DSS, the Diligence Prosecution Team from the Office of the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, and the commitment of the judiciary to bring in terrorists in the country to justice. However, while the convictions have been widely welcomed and celebrated, the sentences imposed have sparked debate over whether the punishment truly reflects the gravity of the offences committed. Oyo State Commissioner for Information and Orientation, Prince Dotun Oyelade, argued that life imprisonment does not adequately reflect the severity of crime crimes committed against innocent school children, teachers, and their families, insisting that the convicts deserve the death penalty. Similarly, the DSS maintains that life imprisonment does not sufficiently reflect the enormity of the offenses committed by individuals accused of financing terrorism through illegal mining, using kidnapping proceeds to procure weapons, manufacturing explosives, and coordinating terrorist operations over several years, including the crime attack that claimed the lives of teachers and security personnel. The state therefore announces its intention to appeal the judgment in the case involving the Ansaru commanders and seek the maximum punishment permitted under the law. According to the DSS intelligence gathered during investigations showed that the terrorists who abducted the Orire school children demanded the release of Mahmoud Usman and Abubakar Abba as a condition for freeing the victims. Section 24, subsection 2B of Nigeria's Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act provides that where hostage taking, kidnapping, or hijacking result in death, the offender is liable under convictions to the death penalty. Terrorism is a deliberate assault on the Nigerian state, its citizens, and its constitutional order. It is therefore argued that the punishment imposed for such crimes should be proportionate to their severity, serving not only as retribution but also as a deterrent to others who may contemplate similar acts. Where the law provides for maximum punishment and the evidence establishes offenses of this magnitude, many believe the court should not hesitate to impose the safest sanctions prescribed by law. Justice, it is often said, must not only be done, must also be seen to be done, as anything less could diminish public confidence in the administration of justice and weaken the deterrent effect that terrorism prosecution are intended to achieve. It is noteworthy that the DSS has resolved to pursue the matter at the Court of Appeal and, if necessary, the Supreme Court. The determination reflects the sacrifices made daily by personnel of the DSS, the armed forces, and the Nigerian police, many of whom have paid the ultimate price in the fight against terrorism across the country. For the family who lost their loved ones, the school children whose innocence was shattered, the teachers who made the ultimate sacrifice, and the countless Nigerians whose lives have been devastated by terrorist violence, justice delivered by the court must be firm, fair, and proportionate under the law.
That script on the sentences handed down to convicted terrorists was written by Fauzia Kashim of our Current Affairs Unit and read by Ariola Dada.
Do you know a water animal that has 9 brain structure and blue blood? Let's join Folakemi Wojuade for details.
The octopus is one of the most extraordinary creatures in the ocean and a true wonder of creation. Its unusual body structure, remarkable intelligence, and incredible survival skills have made it one of the most fascinating animals in the world. One of the octopus's most amazing features is that it has 3 hearts. 2 hearts pump blood to the gills, while the third pumps blood to the rest of the body. Even more fascinating is that it has 9 brain structures, 1 central brain, and a large nerve center in each of its 8 arms. This unique system allows the octopus to perform complex tasks, making it one of the most intelligent invertebrates on Earth. Scientists have observed octopuses solving puzzles, opening jars, escaping from explosions, and learning from experience. Another remarkable feature is its blood, which helps it transport oxygen efficiently in cold, deep waters. Unlike most animals, the octopus has no bones, enabling it to squeeze through incredibly small openings to escape danger or search for food. Besides being an extraordinary animal, the octopus is also a highly nutritious seafood. It is rich in high-quality protein, vitamin B12, essential omega-3 fatty acids, and selenium. Despite all these amazing qualities, the octopus has surprisingly short lifespan, living for only 6 months to 5 years, depending on the species. Its unique feature and incredible abilities remind us that nature is full of wonders waiting to be discovered.
The feature on octopus was written by Rashida Makinde.
To end the news on the world today from the stable of Radio Nigeria, here again are the day's top stories. Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has urged breastfeeding mothers to adopt healthy lifestyles and maintain nutritious diets as the country marks World Breastfeeding Week 2026. The Federal Minister of Works has begun an assessment of flood-affected sections along the Benin-Chagamu Expressway following recent torrential rainfall that disrupted movement on parts of the highway. 3 separate fires broke out over the weekend in and around the city in the east of Washington state, while thousands of people were ordered to evacuate their homes. And lastly, we told you on the news that Iran has executed 2 men, Omid Bezad and Poria Safouat, convicted of spying for Israel.
Well, that's it on the world today. Join us again tomorrow for a fresh edition of the program. Rotimi Famakin edited. I am Dayo Adenuga. Thank you for listening. And from my colleague,
Olushola Kiropo is my name. Thank you so very much for being part of the news. Good afternoon.